Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of the NomadChunk YouTube series. If you are new here, please go watch the previous videos to get some context about what type of account this NomadChunk account is. In this episode, we'll be walking around our new chunks in Draenor, and we will have some interesting choices to make regarding which skills we want to train. At the end of the video, we will be rolling some new chunks, so tune in and find out where this interesting journey will take us this time. And here we are back in the game, in the new chunks for the first time. So let's go and have a look around. Firstly, I'll go to the bank and get rid of all of these items in my inventory in case that we find something that we want to pick up. And we'll take a look around Draenor as well. We have the willow trees here, and we have another fishing spot in case that I want to try and reach 10 fishing. I might take advantage and use the agility course, but let's start out by banking. Okay, I'll have to hide the bank pin. And we're back in the bank, so let's get rid of all of this stuff. Might honestly just bring a few potatoes just in case. And a kebab that I got from, I think, the mysterious old man random event where he just gives you an item in case that I get attacked by something. Oh, and we won't need the 2 bronze pickaxes. We won't be getting any XP, so let's get rid of everything I mean. And let's have a look around. We have the market stalls here, which I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to steal from any of those. We probably will need some men to steal from. I don't know if there are any here. We can move on the X marks the spot. I think it will be in there, the next step, but we won't be able to complete it as we will need to cross over here to Porta Rim, which we won't be able to do. There's a man there, so pickpocketing will be available as well if I want to. The Draenor roof course, which I very well might be choosing to use my 5 levels on in this chunk. Did we not roll the Draenor Manor? We did not. Okay, I don't know if Veronica can wander. If she can, we might be able to... she can. She might be able to walk out here and we might be able to start the quest that she has. Let's put on some run and make sure that we don't step into the wrong chunk. Another cow pin. And up here there is something from the Porcupine of Interest quest, or what it's called. I'm pretty sure that we can complete the quest, so... And we can't cross over here either, so we can't reach this part of that chunk, but we can't enter the Champions Guild anyway, so I don't think there will be many useful things in there. We can make flour in the mill if we have any use for that at some point. I don't think we will have much use. There's some shears that we already have, some eggs. Right now it doesn't seem to have that many items that I can pick up, but I'll check that in the chunk picker afterwards. We can start the sheep shearer quest. We might actually be able to complete it as well, as I do have all the balls of wool in the bank, and I think we only need to talk to him and give him balls of wool. So that's an option. I think it gives some crafting XP. It could be a place to end the chunk, get some agility levels and end the chunk there, unless I want to move west, but we'll see. I need to watch out for the muggers. There's a farming patch, tree patch if I want to get some farming XP, and there is the ham hideout here. I don't think I have the thieving level to steal from them. There's a single air rune, and then we are back full circle. There is the Draenor jail in here with some jail guards that might be aggressive as well, so we'll watch out for them as well. But some interesting things, not that many items on the ground as far as I can tell, but I'll check that out in the chunk picker, and I'll start having a look around and start completing some of the objectives that I can do here. We are in the house with Aggie the Witch, and I've picked up an inventory of tomatoes and cheese, which might be useful at some point, either for quest items like the witch's house, I think you need a cheese, or for making pizzas maybe, or something like that. So I wanted to take advantage and pick up an inventory of each thing. Another thing that I wanted to test is if I can start the Lost City quest, because it has some skill requirements, but I'm not sure if they're required for starting the quest. If it's possible, I'll see how far I can get in the quest without any skills and without going to Intrana. So let's have a look. Oh, nice. We can start the Lost City quest. It seems it should be started now in the quest menu. Here it is, Lost City. And let's try and chop down this tree. I brought my iron axe. Perfect. We shouldn't be getting XP by doing that. So let's see how far we can get. This might actually be the last step that we can do, as it seems like the next step, yes, will be on Intrana. But we've started the quest. If we get to Port Rim, we might be able to progress a little bit in that quest. I'm not sure if we'll have the skills needed to start it, or to chop down the tree in Intrana, I mean, but nice. And here we are ready to advance in the X marks the spot quest. It seems like there are 2 more progressions in this chunk before we get to Port Rim. And the last step in this chunk, and now we actually only need to bring this ancient chest to Port Rim. So depending on where we leave off the chunks, if I leave off on the north chunk up here, I might end the chunks with this item in my inventory, as there are no banks in Port Rim. So I will definitely consider that and hope that I will go west and south and be able to finish that quest, and it will give me an XP lamp, which might be very useful. Maybe I can use it on Hunter or something like that. So in this chunk we also have Django's toy store, and we don't have that much money, so I'm not sure if we'll be buying anything. The Chronicle normally is very useful, but it won't be that useful when I will never have more than 5 chunks, so I'll never have to run that far, so teleports might not be that useful. I'll have to look up all of these items to see if any of them have any use. I might buy the rainbow scarf for the fashion cape or something like that, the cabbage cape to get our first cape. But I'll check it all out before spending money and make sure that I don't need the money for anything, because I doubt that I can sell stuff to this shop, no. So we'll see. And we also have this shop that sells wine. I started looking at the shops as I saw someone drop a blue cape and a cream hat, and I thought that I might be able to buy a blue cape somewhere, but it might have been for Clue Step or something like that, I'm not sure. But jugs of wine for 1 coin seems incredible, and I might just stack up on a lot of those, as that will be a great way to get some healing, I think. I'm not sure how much healing they give, but surely they're better than the 15 potatoes that I have in the bank. And we also have the seed shop, where I will be buying some potato seeds as well, and some onion seeds, I think, in case that I get a farming patch where I can plant them and get some easier farming XP, where I won't have to rake the entire time. None of the seeds seem very expensive, so I might just buy a little bit of all of them. And by checking this notice board, I will be able to start the Porcupine of Interest quest. According to what I just saw on the wiki, I will unfortunately not be able to progress it any further. I was about to say I don't have the combat level either, so that doesn't matter, as the next step is in the next chunk. Oh, I don't need the combat level. It's only a recommendation. So that's started now, but as I was just saying, I won't be able to go any further as I need this chunk over here, which would have been incredible to have available to me. As then I might have been able to do the entire quest. I don't know if I need some more combat stats first, but maybe we'll be back here when I get a little bit more combat stats, because that will unlock a Slayer Master, which would be very, very, very important. So another reason to go west next time, or at least try and go west. I might end up in the Drainer Manor and be rolling from there, but it would be very nice to be able to get to that farm and progress the quest, as Slayer will definitely be a priority. Another quest that we can start is the Vampire Slayer quest, where we need to talk to Morgan, and it doesn't matter about the combat level as I won't be finishing it. We need to talk to him, and then we need to grab a garlic from the cupboard up here, which I might be stacking up on as well. Next step will be in Varrock. Can I get any more? Oh, I can. That's going to be very easy then. Next stop is going to be in Varrock, but we won't want to finish that quest anyways, as it gives a ton of attack XP, so I'll need to get a higher attack level before starting that quest. So I also took a look at some of the tasks that you can do for the Wise Old Man, as I thought it might be a way to get some items without getting XP. And it doesn't look to be very useful for my account, as there are some different types of tasks that you can do. 2 out of 3 categories give either HP or prayer XP, which I don't want in this chunk. I think I'll end up training agility. And the last type gives some gold or items, which would be very useful, but those tasks are some kind of deliveries, and I don't have access to any of the targets of the deliveries in my chunks, so I won't be able to do any of those tasks. So I just looked up the Cabbage Cave on the wiki, and it actually gives some marginal defensive stats, so I'll definitely be buying that, as it's a best in slot and it might come in handy. But better than anything, as you can see here, it does give some slash and crush defense, and a little bit of range defense as well. So very nice. Okay, so I actually didn't record this, but as you can see on the screenshot, I found a needle in the haystack, or hay bales. If you look at the chat, the first time that I'm searching, it doesn't say you find nothing of interest, as I actually found the needle on the first try. I was planning on recording it, but I figured I would just see if I could actually search the hay bales before looking up on the wiki what I needed to search, and on the first try I found the needle. So here we go. I figured it might be useful at some point to have a needle for crafting something. So here I'm making some flour. I have 6 pots that I bought in the first general store in Lumbridge. So I'm going to be making 6 pots of flour, as I can always empty them again. It's a very slow process, and I'm not going to make you watch all 6, but I love how this account makes me do all of these weird and silly early game things that I would never do on a normal account. Now we are getting close to getting some new levels and getting ready to move to the next chunks. Before talking about my plan and what we're going to do, I would like to show the account progression. We have gotten this new cape, which has some defensive stats, and this is what the banks looks like, where these last 2 rows primarily are the new items I have collected, with the cheese and tomatoes as well. I bought some of the seeds, also a lot of potato seeds up here, and we have 800 gold left. So I would love to find a new way to start earning some more GP as well, as we are getting very low on money. Apart from that, we bought 221 wines, which we will be using as food. If that's necessary at some point, I will probably leave the chunk with some wines in my inventory in case that I don't roll a bank and I will need some food. I did collect 45 garlics as it's very quick to pick them up. And I did collect some onions as well. So let's get ready. In order to figure out in which guilds we will be getting our next levels, let's talk about some of the more short-term goals for the account. I really would love to unlock herb law as fast as possible, which will be done by getting up here and starting druid rituals. But before I can complete that quest, I would need some raw bear meat, which can be found up here in this chunk. If I'm lucky, I haven't tested it, I might be able to range or mage a bear from down here and kill it, and not having to unlock that chunk up here, but I might unlock it anyways. I won't be planning very heavily on exactly where to go, as there is still a lot of randomness involved, but I'll do my best to try and get in this direction, which means that I've decided to finish on the square with the giant eye, here the northern drainer square. I won't finish in the southern drainer square because I can't roll wizard's tower and I can't cross this wall, so I will be stuck down here, so I'll need to finish up here. It will put me a little bit closer as well. It does mean that we can roll north in Drainer Manor or west, as the last chunks won't be available to roll again, so this chunk down here and this chunk over here won't be rollable. In order to finish up here, I can't get the last 2 levels in agility, as the agility shortcut will put me down in the southern drainer chunk each time I finish a lap. So unless I find some way to leave the agility course, maybe by locking out, I'm not sure if that would work, and getting back to the start, but down on the earth, it would be impossible to get the last 2 levels in agility, but I will probably be getting the free agility levels that I can and removing the free eastern chunks. Afterwards, I'll probably be getting either in strength, attack, defense or hit points the last 2 levels. There's some goblins or some men here that I can kill, as it would also be very nice to get some higher combat levels, which would allow me to kill some more monsters. And I have put this Slayer icon over here on the western chunk. If we're lucky enough to get this, we will be able to progress in the Porcupine of Interest quest once again. And to finish the quest, I will need a high combat level, as the boss is level 35 and can hit a max hit of 6. Something that I've also considered is that if I manage to get to the druidic circle up here, I'm very close to the Birthrobe Slayer Master up north, and I might be lucky enough to roll all the way up there. But once again, I won't be planning too much, as I might roll on this square, but roll all the chunks north or to north and start going east towards Varrock, and then I'll have to see what options I have and plan again. So optimally we will be moving west, maybe Port Sarim, maybe Falador would be very nice to get and would put us closer to Tavali, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so here we are ready to start our first agility lap, and let's hop up here and see. 5 XP it gave. Going up here, I will try and see what happens if I hop world. Optimally, I would be spawning on the ground below the agility course. No, I didn't think that would work anyways. I will try and log out and log back in and see if that changes anything. I don't think it will. I think I will be staying up here. It's not the end of the world, but it means that we will only be able to get 3 agility levels instead of the 5 that I would have loved to get. But let's get our first lap. I think finishing the lap will be enough to get level 2, and we'll be going to the chunk picker to remove a chunk. And as you can see, we are spawning down here, which if I open the world map, I ran away. We're spawning down here and opening the world map. We are in the southern chunk. And here we are in the chunk picker. I have removed all the rollable chunks as we'll put them on when we only have one chunk left. I will just start by removing the chunks from the north. So that's level 2 agility and this chunk gone. There we are. Okay, so before going for our next lab, as I did the last time, I have filled up my inventory with an axe, knife, tinderbox, pickaxe and some runes to give me some options for which skill to train. I figured I might as well put all the items in my inventory already in case that I don't think up and I get too many levels and I'll get stuck without the bank as happened last time, and I won't need inventory slots for training agility, so better safe than sorry. Here we are closing in on level 3 agility and we will remove another chunk. There we go, and almost 4 agility as well. So let's remove the chunk. And we'll start with the northern chunk up here. So now we have these 3 chunks left. After the next agility level, I will be removing this chunk and we'll only have the 2 trainer chunks. And while I was just removing the last chunk, I got this Quizmaster. And let's go. And I'm sure that I'm actually recording the wrong thing. 2 seconds. And here we are inside the Quizmaster. I just recorded the chunk roller once again. I apologize for that. I think I will be picking the coins here as I am very much in need of coins, and unlike the normal chunk accounts, it won't be that hard to come by a better weapon as I will be able to roll for a weapon shop, for example, try and get in that direction. So I will definitely be picking up the 1000 coins, which will be very nice. And speaking of that, I actually did forget to take my coins out of the bank. So let's go do that before we get the next agility level. So let's get the last agility level for now, which will put us at level 4 agility, and we will be getting rid of the last chunk, and we'll be left with the last 2 drainer chunks, and then we will figure out what we do for the last 2 levels. I have changed my plans a little bit. I think I will be pickpocketing from one of the men instead of training combat. As I just said, that's already level 4 agility, and it's perfect. We won't be getting level 5 by jumping down here. So there we are. That's the last chunk that we're about to remove. And I will be pickpocketing from this man, I think, as he is up here in the northern chunk. I haven't removed this chunk from the in-game overlay yet, but we will remove this chunk and we'll remove it from the overlay, and then I'll get back to you. And here we are back in the chunk roller, and we will remove this chunk as well, and we're only left with the 2 drainer chunks. And here we are back in the game. We still have these 2 chunks left. I was about to start thieving, but I wanted to make sure that it was the best plan, and I noticed that I will actually be able to finish on the 4th chunk. This chunk down here, the southern drainer chunk, because I can roll Wizard's Tower and the western chunk, which means that I'll definitely roll the Wizard's Tower as the eastern chunks aren't available as I had them in the last chunk rolls. So I will be going Wizard's Tower first, then I will be heading to this western chunk over here, and I'll be able to cross, so I will get the north one as the 3rd chunk. So 1, 2, 3 are definite chunk rolls, and then we will be rolling the last 2 to see what other things we get. And that means that we will definitely have access to Ports of Rim, the Wizard's Tower, which is very nice as it's the next step for Rune Mysteries, and the farm up here. So that's definitely the way to go. So I will be doing a lap more of agility and getting level 5. And as you can see in the chat, shout out to C and Kyle. He helped me with testing that I can actually pass up here because I thought that maybe these two chunk tiles here would not be passable, so I asked if someone would be able to help, and he helped me out by testing that it's actually possible to cross up here. So that shouldn't be a problem, and that's definitely what I'll be doing instead of the thieving. And while planning out the last things with agility and editing the video a little bit, I got a Genie roll. So that might actually very much come in handy, as it might be able to give me the last level in agility. Um, we'll see. So here we are about to start the last agility lab, level 4 agility. At level 5 we will be moving the chunk that we're in right now, then the northern drainer chunk, and when we get down from the agility rooftop shortcut we will be in the southern chunk. So let's do that. Um, I'm not sure if we get the level before the end of the course, but we'll see, and hopefully I don't fall down, as that might change things quite a bit. But if I get the level up here, it doesn't matter, as I'm actually not inside of either chunk until I get back on the ground. But it is important in which chunk I finish, so therefore I will be forced to remove the northern chunk. I think we're good. I think it's impossible for me to fail this part, and even if I do, I should be in the southern chunk anyways. But 5 agility. Let's get into the chunk picker and remove the northern drainer chunk. And here we are in the chunk picker once again, and we'll get rid of this chunk. And now we only have the southern drainer chunk left. So after getting the next level, we'll be able to roll Wizard's Tower and this one. Let's just mark them, and the Porter Rim chunk. We won't be able to cross to Porter Rim yet, but there aren't any other rolls, as previously we had this chunk and this chunk, so they aren't rollable yet. And therefore we will be forced to move north. And we will also be removing the chunk from in the game, the overlay here. And I'm still standing where I was, so it's just in the southern chunk. I just realized that the lamp that I just got came in very hugely, because with using that lamp I will be able to reach 6 agility, and I will actually be able to use my agility, my last level of the chunks in agility as well, and getting a higher agility level right now is very nice. And here we are in the chunk picker, and as explained, I will be able to roll the Wizard's Tower. I won't be able to step in there. So to make a little exception, if I get the Wizard's Tower first, I will roll again, get the 2 chunk up here, and that's just a mistake that I made. In the future I won't allow rolls like that, as all chunks should be connected in some way and allow me to walk between them. Otherwise we might get into some very weird situations at some point. But let's do the first roll and we'll see. And that is of course the Wizard's Tower. This isn't possible, this isn't possible. And I will leave the Wizard's Tower as marked, but I won't be able to roll it. This is the Porter Rim chunk, which is the chunk that I'll step into now. From there I will be able to go south, west, north, and not east, because this was one of my previous chunks, and as I've explained many times, I'm not able to roll the same chunk twice. So let's get into that chunk. And I'm just now realizing as well that I won't be able to roll these 2 yet, as I will need to go up here to be able to cross. So let's start out by going into the chunk, and we'll get back to the chunk roller. And here we are back in the game, and the chunk that I rolled was this one to the west. So we'll step in here. We will see which one this is. I think it says 12082. 12082. Then we will remove this chunk, and we should be fine. So this is all that I have available to me right now. We will be rolling the northern chunk next, as it is the only option, but let's get into the chunk picker and roll the rest of the chunks. Okay, so as said, this is the only possible roll for now, the northern chunk, as I won't be able to cross the wall here. I don't have access to the shortcut, and let's roll that chunk. And here I realized that we need to go into the game and check, because in Porta Rim I will have access to a lot of boats, and I will be going with Limpert routes and a lot of the other chunkers rules for the extreme one chunk account that states that if the boat goes to an island that you can't reach by walking, it will be rollable, which means Musa Point might be rollable, Current might be rollable, Pest Control might be rollable. I'm not entirely sure, therefore I will have to go in-game and check. But for example, Port Phasmatis up here will not be rollable because it is possible to walk over there. But you can walk to Carambia and Musa Point from anywhere, and you can walk to Sea. So that's how the rules work for boats. So if I want to get to Sea, for example, or I want to get a 5K at some point, I'll need to get to a harbor which has a boat that can take me to the island. That's the way to roll it. So before doing anything else, I'll go in game and check which boats are in the chunk, because there is one down here and I can't remember which one of these is which boat. So I'll see you in game and we'll go check it out together. So here we are back in the game, and let's get down to Porta Rim and have a look around. I'm very interested to see which boats I have access to. I think we have 2 chunk rolls left, so that might change the things quite a bit. I didn't consider this when I first thought about going this direction, but before I started rolling, I looked at the chunk map to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and well, this Vio's boat I'm pretty sure is Current. I will have to check it out. These monks of Intrana are to Intrana, obviously, so Current, Intrana, if I'm not mistaken. We have these guys, which will be Musa Point. I'm fairly certain about that, and this is definitely Pest Control, so the charter ship is the one that I don't have access to. So that's very interesting. Yeah, I'll see you back at the chunk picker after I've checked that the boats are going exactly where I'm thinking that they're going. And we'll roll the last 2 chunks before doing anything else. Okay, so here we are back in the chunk picker, very far zoomed out, as we have the 3 chunks around Porta Rim that we had available before as well. Without this one, Drainer isn't available as I had it in my previous chunks, so we can go west and north. This chunk will be available and this chunk will be available. Okay, here we are. So 4 chunks at land. This chunk, because I can take the boat to Musa Point. We have Intrana. We have Pest Control. And we have Current. I actually have not thought about Current, and I'm not sure that I want to get stuck into Current. So probably not the best role for now. I think I would like to stay on the mainland here. The good thing about my rule set is that if we happen to go to Current, I don't have to make use of the junk. I'll go have a look around, but for now it's just the pier, the port, and it won't have much content. But if I choose to keep rolling from the South Falador Farm, for example, I won't be able to roll Porta Rim again, and I will be staying on the mainland. So it's not that critical. The thing is, we already rolled Wizard's Tower by mistake. which I haven't access to, so that's 1 chunk lost. And if I get, for example, pest control and current, that's 2 more chunks rolled that will be wasted, and I will only have access to these 2 chunks, and I won't be getting much nearer to my goal of herb law. But let's see. I'll zoom all the way out so we can see if it actually hits the 5 roll, preferably 2 or 1. Okay, that's the 2. That's very nice actually. Let's see here. I can enter into Falador, so I can roll the 9 chunk, which would be amazing, and have a bank. That would be very, very good. The 8 one, I won't be mad about either. That will be very nice actually, as I might be able to force a way up here. I won't, because I might be able to roll the southern chunk, and then I would be stuck on all of these chunks down here. But now I'm getting ahead of myself. 1, 9, and maybe 8. 1 and 9 would definitely be the best ones. So let's hope for a 1 and then 9. I have been very lucky with the chunk roll so far. I'm not sure that this chunk has any content, but we will see. For now, let's roll the last chunk, and let's hope for the best. That's the Remington one. That's actually not bad. That's actually very nice. Not the perfect roll, but a very nice roll. And I will clean up the chunk picker later. We avoided all of the islands actually, which I can't believe when we had 4 available to us. A nice square. It will definitely be interesting for the next roll. I might be able to force it towards Falador. I probably will be ending up on the South Falador farm. Oh, that would allow me to go back to Draenor as well. Okay, so I'll have to plan that out. I was thinking that it might only allow me to go north, but since it's a square, next time if I end up on South Falador farm, I will be able to go right, and I'll be able to go north. But we'll take a look at that later. A weird square of chunks down here, and the Wizard's Tower, which I won't be able to access. Let's have a look around in our chunks. Okay, so here we are back in our new chunks. To the south of here, I think that there's only the ports, so I'll go take a look around in Ports of Rim first, and then we'll be heading north and seeing what we have up there. Something I wanted to say that I completely forgot about was bringing the casket to finish X marks the spot, which is a shame, as that would have been our first quest completion. But as I have explained a lot of times during this series, I need to be aware and I need to think about every little thing, because sometimes I might not be able to go back and finish something. So I won't be able to finish that quest yet, as I have access to no bank. Here are our chunks, and there's a bank in Falador, and we have a deposit box down here, but no bank. So I can't do this quest for now. We'll have to come back some other time. We have a battle axe shop. Let's see if the price is the same. It's exactly the same as in the lumberage shop. Let's just check if there's anything upstairs. Nothing. Let's do a quick run around in the chunk, and then I'll come back later and do a more thorough look of everything. There are some rings and some amulets. I'm not sure if you can actually buy all of these or if someone sold them. But we have 1,800 that we can spend, so we might want to consider buying something at some point. There's a white apron in here. And the fishing shop. Let's see what he sells. A lot of raw food. Once again, I'm not sure if I can buy the raw sardines or not. Feathers. 200 coins. I'll probably buy at least 1 feather pack if we want to make some arrows at some point, so we need some feathers for a quest or anything. And I might just buy all of the different fishing gear and tools so I have them if I get a chunk where I can train some fishing. In here there's a banana, some goblins. Let's head out this way. I don't think that there's any dangerous monsters out here. There's a small crop circle, but we are still level 100, so that doesn't help. In Remington, I'm not certain if there's anything good. Some logs, a bronze arrow again, a general store. I might be able to make some money in this chunk if I find something that's worth anything to sell. We have the mine as an option for gaining levels. There's some men in Port Rim, so I might consider either getting the levels in thieving, as I thought about in the last chunk, and being able to start making some money. Also, if I get a higher thieving level in Falador, for example, I'll be able to pickpocket from guards and actually get some more money. So that'll definitely be a nice option. We actually have our first runecrafting altar, but once again we have no bank, so not really useful. I'm not sure if I can actually train runecrafting without having completed rune mysteries anyways, but doesn't matter, we have no way to get rune or pure essence. And I think a little bit of the city of Falador is in the chunk as well. So here are the guards. I don't have the level to pickpocket from them. Yes, the southern shops up here are actually in the chunk. I don't remember, is it the chainmail shop that's down here? Yes, and the spinning wheel. Oh, we don't have a bank, and I don't think there's any way to get balls of wool, so I don't think there's a sheep pen in the farm. But if there is, we can also get the crafting levels this time if we want to, or at least get a few crafting levels. Let's see what's in the chainmail store. Up to adamant, that's very expensive. I'll have to look up, but I doubt that those options will be much better than the hardcore Iron Man armor. I'm actually thinking, I don't know what happens if I happen to die and lose my status. If it will convert into normal Iron Man armor, or if I'll lose it and I'll have to go back to Lumbridge and pick it up, because if I lose the armor, I won't be able to pick it up again, as I don't have Lumbridge unlocked, but hopefully that doesn't happen. We have the herb patches up here, and I can actually plant the onion seeds, so that's another option. I can train some real farming if I want to. So I have some nice options in these chunks for which skill to train, and we can progress the Porcupine of Interest quest in the farm here, and then we need to go back to Drainer again, so that's an option if I want to roll from up here and maybe get Drainer again and see if I can progress that quest, but I doubt that I'll be able to kill the boss anyways. We'll need some more levels for that. But a nice farming shop here that has everything in terms of farming equipment, and easy diary task. I'm not sure that I actually need any of this stuff, but we'll see. That's all I had for you today in this video. I figured I would be going over what we managed to achieve before ending the video, and here we have it on the screen. I managed to get 5 agility levels, which I marked as a difficult skill, so that's very nice. The harder the skill, the better the levels. And we got a new best in slot cape, the cabbage cape. We managed to start the Porcupine of Interest quest. That's still not the name, but it's the name that I can think of. And we managed to get 2 steps done in X marks the spot. I did do some other quest progressions, but these 2 are the important ones. The Porcupine of Interest will be very nice for unlocking potentially a new Slayer Master, and X marks the spots I might be able to do in the following chunks, as the next step is import Sarim. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and once again, any feedback would be very much appreciated, whether it's about the content of the video or how it's done. And I'll see you very soon for the next video.